So, Anna, thank you for joining me, and we are going to be talking over all things business. So obviously now you are on board with Change, you're helping our members. I literally get messages every single day complimenting you, saying how much you've helped them with their business plans, how much you're helping them with their branding. But obviously before you came on board with Change, you were a businesswoman yourself.
Yeah.
So can we talk a little bit about what life looked like for you back then, how you came into business, and just a little bit about your journey in the business world?
Of course. So I always knew from like a really young age that I wanted my own business. I've never wanted to work for a boss as such. So when I was about 21, I was kind of finishing my degree, which I have never used. And I had an 8-month-old baby. It was coming close to the end of my degree, and I was kind of looking into jobs really of what I could do with my degree. I'd done psychology and criminology, and I was looking into jobs, and like I'd say the best paid job I could get was like £15 an hour. I wouldn't be spending any time with my daughter, and I was just like, do you know what, I've got like 6 months, or I think it might have been a year at the time, to like figure out what business I want to do. And I was interested in like children's health and fitness at the time. Yeah. So I kind of developed, it was a non-sports specific health and fitness program for young children. Okay. So I wasn't a coach myself. So I found like coaches with the relevant qualifications to deliver the program that I had created. So I got into independent nurseries, schools, and we had like our own daytime sessions, holiday camps or things like that. And that's kind of when I really learned like how to manage staff, getting all my policies in place, making sure people were where they needed to be at the right time, and if they weren't there, what was I going to do to offer like my service. So that was where I really learned a lot of general kind of business management.
Because they don't teach it in schools.
No, and I definitely think managing people is very hard.
Yes, that is a skill.
Which I think is the problem with traditional businesses. It's just a job. You may not physically be doing the work, but you've got to manage however many people. But when I would go and speak to schools and nurseries, I spent a really long period of time at the time I didn't realise I was developing a brand. I just worked with a really good designer, got my logo. I already had my vision for the programme, and was just really bringing it to life, amending things as you go along. And when I started to go into schools, nurseries, or speak to parents to watch the coaches, they were like, oh, have you kind of brought a franchise? Like, it's amazing, because we had like these really cool like sticker charts, characters. They got letters from the characters. Like, it was really cute. So they thought that I had brought into a franchise, and it was something that regularly kept coming up. And I was like, I didn't really fully know properly what a franchisable business was. But anyway, I looked into it, and that's where I kind of got the idea to franchise the health and fitness program.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So then obviously moving on from there, and just touching on the branding, obviously you're helping our members with that. So it's something that you learn early on is really, really important in the journey, and obviously to be taken seriously and obviously to be professional. So just wanted to touch on that, but I think we'll speak a little more about branding later. Yeah. But moving on from there, you've obviously had 3 more lovely children. Yeah. So how do you find, because obviously I've got Brooke. Yeah. How do you find managing family life, your kids, your business, and all of that comes with it? I mean...
should we do an Instagram versus reality? No, it's really, really hard. Like, you can't make out that it is, because it isn't. But I think the one thing that I've always been really good at is like planning, trying to stick to my schedules as best you can with children, and just like powering through those times. You know, there are times where you are physically, mentally exhausted, but if you let that get the better of you, like every day, you would never get anything done. And it's the same with people that are trying to better themselves, that are doing, you know, working all hours, can't pay to kind of delegate certain jobs. You literally have to power through, but put purpose behind what you're doing. So when you know you do have that bit of time, you're doing something really productive, but not being so overwhelmed by what you need to do. That's why, I think just knowing what you need to do, why you need to do it, and just doing it, you know, however you know, it's not ever going to be a perfect situation. You might have a child hanging off you or something, like you just got to do it. And that's why, like, the business plans are so important.
I wish I had you back when I started. And
I wish I knew kind of, you know, starting out from the beginning. Because that plan just gives you that vision and direction of where you need to go. And in a business plan as well, you're not going to get all those things done within maybe the first couple of months, but you've got that vision of why you're doing maybe a couple of steps that don't really seem relevant to get to where you need to be. But once you nail your plan down properly, you then understand why you're doing certain things, or little things like if you know you need to do a social media post, you know what you need to do before that post to plan the content, where you're going to shoot it, what you're going to write, not just posting out any other thing that has
just
no
for
value.
the sake of it,
has no value or content.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's with the time management. I get asked that a lot, especially on webinars. People will say, "Oh, Tami, how do you handle like Brooke and getting everything you need to do done?" And I don't have a straightforward answer, because some days are easier than others. Some days she'll be so happy playing on her own that I can absolutely smash through everything. And then some days she needs more of my attention. And I am in a position where I can actually say, right, I'm going to put the laptop away. I'm going to spend this time with her, which is like an amazing position to be in. And if there are things that I've got to get done, I will write it down. And then when she goes to bed, even if I stay up an extra hour, I don't get an hour to watch TV. That's fine. I've got an hour to myself to get it done. So I think is kind of a case, well, for me personally, of taking each day as it comes, but also, like you say, I'm a list person. So with me, I'll work through my list. And then if I'm like, that has been on my list for like a week now, that needs to be done tomorrow. Like prioritising that list.
Prioritising is a major, major thing. You know, which is like general business knowledge, but like you say, if you don't write it down, if you don't have a plan, and then you know what it's like when you've had a crazy day or like they're going AWOL, you can't think. So you need to plan.
Exactly.
When you've got a chaotic life, it's just too much otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. So moving back on to branding. So obviously you are now helping our members with branding, as I mentioned before. And like I said, everyone's really, really happy with you. Was it that first time before with the health and fitness, was it then that you sort of found a passion for branding? And because obviously you would have seen the importance, like I said, was it then that you sort of found that?
I think like now, I probably didn't realise it back then, but looking back, like I loved it, because as the business grew, like people are paying a substantial amount of money to buy into your brand. The program was quite sophisticated, but ultimately they're buying into what the business looks like, because the concept of it was no different to running, you know, a multi-skills after school club. They were buying into the brand. And that's when I realised like how powerful it is, especially in the franchising world, because that's
then
what you're
you've
buying.
got like actual business people buying into your brand as well as like consumers.
Yeah, exactly. So that was when I really just fell in love with branding. I just started doing like a lot of consultancy work for commercial businesses, helping them grow their businesses to look more professional and established. So taking people from kind of like an amateur level of, you know, new startups to building to having, you know, employees, new premises and things like that, which is a lovely journey to go on with like new business owners. And then obviously that developed into like the online world. Obviously that's what brought us together, like the online world. But you started your online journey with the Tami Jade brushes, or how did that kind of all...
That was, it was different circumstances because I didn't have Brooke then. I worked in a bank. I absolutely hated it. And I just remember coming home and thinking, I can't do this anymore. Like, people were so rude. And I came home one particular day and I just cried all that day. I went on the laptop and I was literally typing up like, make money online. Like, look, and it wasn't as scammy back then. This is probably 15 years ago now. So there was a lot of stuff, and there was things like you can complete a survey and you get like £2 or something. But then I actually came across a course, and it was £5,000. It was for Amazon selling. So I signed up for that. I went to, and I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I was thinking like, this will be good. I went to Vegas for part of it. So that was a good experience. And then I started doing product research, having a look at things I was passionate about. And one thing that I've always struggled is to find good makeup brushes that the hairs don't come like, you know, when it gets stuck in your face and you're like picking it out
and they feel kind of harsh, don't they?
So I was like, well, that's something that I want and I can't find that, so why don't I do something like that? I was very lucky on the product research part where the supplier I found, when they sent me my sample, it was perfect. It was literally everything I wanted. And I know that that's not a common thing. So I was very lucky, and I'll admit that. But everything, I absolutely loved it. So then my supplier actually white labelled it all. Well, it's private label because they done it to my specifics, but they put my logo on it, listed it on Amazon. But I was targeting the US, and I had loads of reviews on there. It was going really, really well. I actually was able to leave the bank based on what I was doing from that.
That's amazing.
I was then going to move over to Amazon.co.uk. Then Amazon started being a bit funny, and I know it's the case now. So they would copy something that's doing well and sort of go above your results, and you had to fight so hard. And also competitors would put fake negatives on there. I don't even know if that would be Amazon. I was constantly battling that. So I kind of moved away from Amazon. Funnily enough, this is around the same time as I met Ryan and Reese, when we were all in our daytime jobs, because I was not closing down, but I was sort of finishing the Amazon sort of side of the thing. I didn't know about anything like Shopify then. So I thought, right, I need a little job. Got a little job in an office. That's where I met Ryan and Reese, just to skip forward a bit. And then they started telling me what they were doing, and I was like, that's amazing. And I think because they'd had so many people not support them, when I was really supportive and like, you should go for it, and like, can I help? I'll do this. That sort of brought us all together, and that's, you know, we've gone from there, we've changed. Reese knew about Shopify and stores, so moved all my brushes over to Shopify, which is much better for me. So my journey started just wanting to get out of a job. It wasn't because of Brooke, but obviously now I'm like reaping the rewards because I've had her now, and I get to spend all the time I want with her. So,
and would you say, like, because you did genuinely believe in the product, because it was something you wanted to sell, that kind of made you not give up? Because, you know, after the Amazon process. You could have been like, do you know what? I've just got to accept I've got to get a job.
Yeah.
Like, do you think you would have been like that if you didn't have?
I 100%. It is 100% because I loved the product and I believed in it. I knew that was better than any brushes I'd used.
Yeah.
And another example, at the same time, I started selling a like a skincare product on Amazon alongside
I remember
it.
You telling me that, actually. Yeah.
And I didn't really, well, I actually used it myself, but I've got quite sensitive skin and that made my skin feel horrible. But other people who tested it for me really liked it. But because I didn't like it, I then had a problem, if you remember me telling you before, where all my stock sold out. Everyone got my stock for free because there was a 100% discount code on my Amazon page. So when that all sold out, I just thought, I don't want to carry on with that. So if that was my brushes,
you would have got over that.
Yeah, I would have been like, right, well, that was a mistake you've made. Like, carry on, get some more stock in. But with that, because I wasn't passionate or believe in the products, then I was like, I
definitely feel like with my LA Cosmetics journey, there were so many high peaks, then kind of lows, high peaks, lows. If I genuinely didn't believe in the product, I would not have got over that to kind of get to that place where you can just see slow growth, like increasing, which is why I guess, you know, I think everyone's view on that is different because some people don't really care what they sell as long as it does provide some sort of service or value, like they can sell it. But I think you do have to be true to yourself,
like you have to back what you're putting out
100%. And it will just sell itself, and that's what I always say about branding as well. Everything you believe in the product or say about the product, like that will all then go into your branding.
Definitely.
And then it makes it more, you know, people are going to be more intrigued because it's almost like your voice is in the brand. And if you're an advocate for it, your brand's going to be an advocate for it. So, I think it's definitely important for me. But I know there are some people that can kind of...
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's a good point to end it on. But before we do end it, I just want to ask you, what is one of your favourite things about working with change? Put you on the spot.
Well, there's loads of things I love. But I think working with members that really do have a vision on creating a brand, but don't really know what it is, getting educated on, you know, businesses that have created a brand, really understanding it and noticing that they're kind of selling the same product that I could sell, you know, at a really increased, with increased profits. You know, it might be something they're already selling. They're like, oh my God, I'm only making £10. They're selling it for like, you know, they're making like £30 more than me per product because of the brand. Then kind of really understanding that, then coming to me, kind of having a Zoom and putting like their branding portfolio together, and it's just the messages that I get when they've kind of created their brand, have the vision, and they then know what their business stands for, what their brand values are. It's not just the product, it's like what they're bringing to the table for their customers as well, whether that is just amazing customer service with the product, whether it's educating like their customers on the product and what benefits that then has to them. So I think it's a really
rewarding.
Really rewarding when members fall in love with their business before they've even like generated sales. It just makes their journey so much more enjoyable
100%,
because you're excited and you're hyped. And it's another thing that I love is watching the journey.
I know.
You know, like there's so many members now where you think, oh my God, can you remember like last year, like this was happening, now they're doing this, like it's just crazy. And to be, you know, a part of that journey, supporting them is like, it is really, really lovely. It's so nice.
Yeah, amazing. So, thank you so much for all you do for all our members, and thanks for chatting me today.
No worries.